It's a different machine.
Self-confidence will be...
And time waits for no man, as the saying goes. I just think that this is a fight it's exciting. It's a good fight. You've got to make Usyk the favourite, but it's a fight that Daniel Dubois can definitely win.
I think Daniel Dubois, he's on a roll. He's coming off of a massive win against AJ. Usyk's also on a massive roll, so I think that fight's going to come down to mindset.
On Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk, realistically, has he got any chance? We've got 30 seconds.
Of course he has. Look, it's a tough ask, of course. You know, the thing with Usyk is he doesn't depend on his power to knock you out. He depends on his skill. That's why it's a tough ask, because he's going to box rings around you if you let him. Dubois, good luck. Don Charles, good luck. Great British boxing, good luck. We potentially might have a heavyweight championship back on our soil.
Carl Froch has thrown gasoline on the fire, fanning the flames of a rematch that's grown into more than just a second chance. It's now a battle of narrative, identity, and legitimacy. Froch hyped Daniel Dubois as a reborn savage, an evolved warrior ready to unleash a storm of vengeance on Oleksandr Usyk. But as he leaned into the war cry, Froch...
Scary. But I do think now, this is caught up now as well.
Right.
So I think he's going to be a dangerous man against Usyk this time.
Froch sounded less like a man convinced of an upset and more like someone trying to convince himself. Beneath the bravado, there's an unease. Froch knows the truth that looms. Usyk isn't just another man in gloves. He's a surgical monster, a predator who thrives on hype and devours it whole. Dubois might roar louder, muscles coiled and promises blazing, but Usyk speaks in silence and strikes with precision.
You know, like you said, like Daniel hit him with that shot and he never capitalised on it.
Yeah.
I sparred him for maybe 40 rounds in 2 weeks. I didn't hit him with one shot. Dubois might have, if that was a legal shot, I don't think it was. But good luck at him again. Hitting Usyk with 2 clean shots in 12 rounds is an unbelievable task.
Froch's fiery warning to Usyk, urging him to back out before it's too late, doesn't land like a prediction. It lands like a plea. Because when the bell tolls, it may not be Dubois delivering the shock. It'll be Usyk teaching the lesson, again. And Dave Allen, the British heavyweight known for his grit, has no illusions. Having sparred over 40 rounds with Usyk, Allen reveals a chilling truth. He never landed clean.
Right now, I believe Usyk has more fans in UK than any of the other UK fighters.
Not once. Allen labels Dubois a powerhouse, yes, but then douses the hype with the cold water of experience. This is the reality. Usyk isn't just evasive, he's untouchable. A ghost with gloves. A specter who makes punchers whiff air until their will breaks. Allen isn't talking about physical dominance. He's describing a psychological drain, the slow suffocation of a fighter who realizes...
It's not an easy task, but he's definitely the man that can go through with it. He's done the work, he's gone through the pedigree, and he's a certified champion. So, I think, he has big hopes on doing it. He's going to do it.
From the beginning. I was one of the first guys to come on record from the beginning. I told him he can come and I can teach him some pointers.
Realizes brute force won't crack the code. People remember the low blow incident in their first bout. What they forget is what happened after. Dubois froze. No killer instinct, no follow-up, just hesitation against a master. Usyk made him question everything. That wasn't just a punch. It was a mental block. Dubois walked into fire and blinked. But the most humiliating twist may not even come in the ring. Asagas Kleos, a longtime boxing insider, drops a savage truth.
Anybody seen him? Usyk was a hell of a fighter, a gold medalist, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but he was behind the scenes. Two guys with a crazy amateur back.
Truth bomb. Usyk now commands more support in the UK than Dubois. That's right. The Ukrainian is out cheering the supposed hometown hero in his own backyard. The takeover is cultural, not just tactical. The chants, the energy, the adoration. It won't be for Dubois, it'll echo for Usyk. That's not just controversial, it's humbling. Dubois isn't defending his turf. He's renting it from a global icon. And when legends speak, the sport listens. Lennox Lewis, former undisputed heavyweight champion,
is the consummate professional. All right? He's not going to be easy. I don't care how you come at him. He's a consummate professional. He's unique in that he'll bring the fight to you 1 minute, and then the next minute, he's moving and grooving. It's hard to catch up.
Champion doesn't pile on insults, but he doesn't sugarcoat either. He gives Dubois credit, power, strength, effort. The fundamentals are there. But Lewis draws a hard line. Usyk is on another level. Tools alone won't win a war. When facing a ring general who reads your every move, timing your steps, and luring your power into traps, muscle turns meaningless. Lewis knows what greatness looks like. He sees potential in Dubois, but brilliance in Usyk. In the ring, power fades. Precision remains king. And the kingmaker himself, Floyd Mayweather, is reportedly all in on Team Usyk. The undefeated icon isn't merely offering lip service. Behind
Talented, some people are dedicated to the sport, they're not consistent. Or I think the biggest factor is they're not confident in themselves, or they just ain't mentally prepared to be a boxer.
closed doors, insiders say Mayweather is actively helping Usyk sharpen his already lethal arsenal. Tactical insights, psychological warfare, everything Floyd mastered in his reign, he's allegedly sharing with the Ukrainian maestro. And here's the kicker. Sources claim Mayweather privately warned Dubois to withdraw. This is unwinnable, he said, branding the matchup a death sentence for Dubois' ambitions. To Floyd, Usyk isn't a fighter, he's a weapon. But perhaps the most stinging blow comes from someone who once built Dubois from the ground up, James Ali Bashir. Once a mentor, now a critic, Bashir has turned his back on Dubois with thunderous finality.
Dubois shot in that fight. It's a good time. I mean, a little bit of inactivity because of the fight falling through against Joseph Parker, but, you know, it's exciting. And I think definitely a...
He's not just siding with Usyk. He's rejecting Dubois' entire comeback arc. Bashir tears through the illusions, branding Dubois' recent wins as smokescreens that hide deeper flaws. Even the hard-earned win over Jarrell Miller, Bashir brushes it off as nothing more than a survival act. Dubois may have heart, but Bashir says it won't matter. Not against a technician like Usyk, not this time. This isn't loyalty, Bashir says. This is reality. And in comes Masatuma, boxing analyst.
If they fight for a second time, Daniel has a chance.
He has a good chance, definitely. Daniel Dubois, when I saw his fight against Hergovich, which I said last time when he was fighting Joshua, I said, this guy is a beast, he's a good fighter, he's a hard fighter to beat. And I think he'll learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight against Usyk, and it will give him a hard fight. Look, he has the tools to win that.
And purist, with a verbal flamethrower. He doesn't hold back, tearing into the hype machine surrounding both fighters. Usyk, a flashy technician, he admits, but lacking grit when the war gets ugly. Yet he saves his most brutal words for Dubois. Mentally weak, emotionally fragile, a gym-built figure trying to survive in a world built for warriors. To Atuma, this rematch is a setup, not a storyline. Dubois hasn't passed a pressure test, he warns. And July 19 won't be his redemption. It'll be his televised collapse. And then there's Eddie Hearn, doing his best to rally support, but it's clear.
If you ask me personally, I consider this fight to be way more dangerous for Usyk than the previous one. Now we see Daniel Dubois not a prospect, a young kid anymore.
The cracks in his confidence are visible. His tone feels forced, like he's trying to sell hope rather than deliver belief. That loss to Joseph Parker didn't just drop Dubois. It unraveled him. The aura shattered. The holes were exposed, and they remain. Meanwhile, Usyk continues to sharpen the blade. Focused, cold, lethal. Amir Khan, to his credit, praises Dubois' evolution. He talks of renewed focus, enhanced conditioning, and hunger. Dubois.
I kind of figured that one out. But at the end of the day, the whole turning point was after the 5th. It was the 6th round. He did what winners do. He said, a winner never lets you get momentum, does he? No, a winner's...
He says, is a transformed fighter. But even Khan, always hopeful, admits that it may not be enough. Usyk is too fast, too smart, too calculated, he concedes. This rematch isn't just a second chance. It's a test of whether Dubois belongs at this level at all. And in the background, the psychological warfare continues. Usyk's longtime promoter, Oleksandr Usyk, plays the long game. He praises Dubois, calling him refined and dangerous. But don't mistake it for genuine admiration.
Back in December and beat him. I'll reign all the belts I should never have lost. And then I'll fight the Dubois and take
the... This is a classic chess move. Usyk is building the illusion. When Usyk dismantles this monster, it becomes more than a win. It's a masterclass. The higher you lift the beast, the more powerful it looks when your man slays him. Usyk is not hyping Dubois. He's feeding him to the wolves. Power? He smirks. It means nothing when it swings at air. Teddy Atlas, the no-nonsense voice of boxing wisdom, offers perhaps the most sobering insight of all. He doesn't wax poetic. He delivers truth. Usyk, he says, is a generational fighter, the kind who would have thrived in any era. He's not flashy, he's not one-dimensional, he's complete.
the victory, but I didn't take it out of the judge's hands, so I had left it to someone's opinion and it went against me. So am I going to cry about spilt milk? No. Have I cried about it at all? No, because it is...
Atlas doesn't speak of knockout power or fast hands. He talks about balance, about mental discipline, about adaptability, the things that don't fade, the traits that define legends. And then there's the man who's still screaming into the void, Tyson Fury. Fresh off back-to-back losses to Usyk, Fury rants about revenge, redemption, and reclaiming his throne. He promises destruction, but the bravado rings hollow. Underneath the bombast is desperation. Usyk didn't just outbox Fury, he exposed him. He dismantled every illusion. Fury's gas tank failed. His tricks didn't land. His size meant nothing. And now, this trilogy finale feels less like a comeback and more like a farewell tour. No more games. No more spin. Just truth. Even now, Fury won't show humility. He blames the system, the judges, the politics. But boxing fans know better. Usyk didn't beat Fury on paper. He beat him with footwork, with timing, with composure. The Gypsy King didn't just fall, he was deconstructed. And while he shouts about legacy, Usyk has quietly redefined it. Now, as the final chapter looms, the storm clouds gather over the heavyweight division. The chessboard is set. Fury's final reckoning is near. And Usyk? Calm, focused, silent, ready to close the saga with clinical destruction. But before that, Daniel Dubois gets his second chance, his shot at redemption, his final test. The question isn't whether Dubois hits hard, he does. The question is whether he can land anything that matters, against a man who sees punches coming before they're thrown.